Congressman Madison Cawthorn is cited for having a gun at another airport.
This time the gun was found today during a security screening at Charlotte-Douglas International Airport. News 13's Ty Russell is here. And Ty, the congressman will not face a criminal charge.
Tammy, Charlotte-Mecklenburg police say it's common to only issue a citation. That's as long as there are no other extenuating circumstances like having a gun as a felon. Now, we do have some video to show you. Police say TSA screening officers discovered a gun in a bag at a checkpoint around 9 this morning. Officers sent us a picture of the pistol you just saw there. Investigators say the congressman admitted to owning it and cooperated with investigators. The police department has the gun now, which is standard procedure. And this is not the first time Cawthorn has been caught with a gun at an airport. Back in February last year, Cawthorn was questioned about trying to go through security with a gun. That happened at Asheville Regional Airport. The congressman's office told us it was accidentally placed in his carry-on instead of checked bag. Law enforcement never confirmed to News 13 whether the congressman was fined. As for this recent incident, Cawthorn violated a City of Charlotte ordinance, which is usually punishable by a fine. I am still working at this hour to learn the maximum amount he faces. Now, the congressman's office has not responded to us about this recent incident.
Madison Cawthorn has been accused 4 times of bringing weapons into schools across North Carolina.
News 13's Anjali Patel has the latest on the accusations and what his critics say needs to happen.
On February 13th, TSA found a gun in Representative Madison Cawthorn's carry-on bag here at the Asheville Regional Airport. Now, his office says he mistakenly put the gun in the wrong bag, but since then there have been several other accusations of the representative bringing weapons where the law says they don't belong. 4 times in just 4 weeks, U.S. Representative Madison Cawthorn has been accused of bringing a knife onto school property. His office has not yet responded to our request for comment, but the American Muckrakers PAC, which aims to oust the conservative congressman, has been outspoken, calling for investigations into the accusations.
For some reason, Madison Cawthorn thinks he has the right, unlike anybody else, to just bring a knife onto educational property.
So here's what we know about each accusation. The first one came at a Henderson County School Board meeting on September 13th, where Democratic opponent Jake Carey says there was a dagger underneath Cawthorn's seat. The Henderson County Sheriff's Office says they made Cawthorn aware of the rules, and the district's administrative office building has also now been clearly marked as an educational facility that prohibits weapons. The second accusation coming just a day later at a Johnston County School Board meeting. And the third and fourth accusations stem from October 5th. That day, Cawthorn is accused of bringing a knife to Veritas Christian Academy in Fletcher. The Fletcher police chief says based on the information obtained, or lack thereof, they will not be pursuing an investigation. The school's headmaster says none of the staff who interacted with the congressman reported seeing anything that looked like a knife. And that same day, Cawthorn was accused of bringing a knife onto the Western Carolina University campus, where he spoke at a meeting for conservative college group Turning Point USA. The University Police Department reviewed the information and says it was inconclusive. University officials are reminding the student organization, though, that their guests must obey their policies. The American Muckrakers PAC says that's all they want, for the congressman to follow the rules.
Madison Cawthorn, I challenge you to put your knife, like everybody else does, in your glove box before you go into a school, out of the safety of our kids and out of a respect for the law.
Now, we have reached out to the chair of the NC-11 GOP for comment on this and are waiting to hear back. The chair of the Henderson County GOP has declined to comment at this time.
Asheville has seen an average of 9.4 homicides a year over the past 5 years. Police say a firearm was used in 3/4 of those deaths.
Today, Asheville's Public Safety Committee addressed gun violence in the city. As News 13's Andrew James reports, the police chief says more community support is needed to reduce the gun violence.
Chief David Zach says APD has made reducing gun violence a major priority, and they are finding some success. But city leaders say this isn't up to APD alone, and they're looking for more community support.
Asheville has experienced a rise in gun-related crime.
APD Chief David Zach speaking to Asheville's Public Safety Committee Tuesday. Here's a graph from APD showing gunshot victims over the past 5 years. You can see the peak at 45 in 2020, dropping to 31 in 2021.
For the first time in several years, we were able to work diligently to get those numbers of gunshot victims down.
Year to date, we are seeing a slight increase in gunshot victims from 2021 to 2022. APD hopes to implement more group violence interruption strategies and is looking at models in other cities around the country. Many of these strategies include community messengers working to stop crime before the trigger is pulled. Chief Zach says these messengers include parents of victims of gun violence, people with experience in the criminal justice system, and credible community members.
If we're going to prevent violence, we have to know who those potential victims and in some cases who those offenders are most likely to be.
Vice Mayor Shanika Smith says a sticking point in this process has been groups and community members wanting some autonomy from APD, suggesting the city's Office of Equity and Inclusion work as a liaison for the process.
People feel like they're working autonomously within the community, continuing their credibility for the bottom line. The bottom line is to reduce gun violence and get out ahead of things.
Now, some cities around the country actually employ and pay these community messengers to help cut down on gun violence. That was discussed by the Public Safety Committee, but no decisions were made.